the channel. Thank you for all the comments, and thank you also for all the new subscribers. It's absolutely fantastic. Well, today's video, I'm really proud to present to you the latest addition to our fleet. It's a 1980s 14-foot CJR Dory. And unlike all the other boats we have, this one isn't actually a project. Now, we picked this up the other day with the sole purpose of just getting straight out onto the water. There are a few little things that need doing to it, like the wheel bearings a little bit, you know. Need to check the transom, and also the transom plugs, 2 little screw plugs, they're missing. We've asked the previous owner for them. He promised he'd send them through, and nothing's turned up. Obviously can't get out in the water, otherwise poor boat will sink. But anyway, generally it's in really good condition. It's got a fantastic motor on the back, and paintwork wise, well, what can I say? Previous owner said that he's given it a fresh coat of paint. No, he most definitely has not. This has been painted quite some time ago, been touched up in various areas, but you know, to be fair, it doesn't really matter, to be honest. I'd like a different colour, and maybe we'll do that in future, but this is not meant to be a project boat. It's ready to go as it is. So without further ado, I'm going to get you in a bit closer, and let's do a little bit of a teardown, and let's see what we've actually got here. So let's start off with this trailer then, as always. Well, as you can see, it's pretty rusty. It's had a hard life. Yeah, it's okay at the moment, but it's not super safe. I wouldn't go on a long journey with this at all. Some of those rollers are actually not in bad condition at all, but some of them getting further. Certainly one right at the very back here. That's pretty done. So gonna have to do some work on this and maybe replace some bits. What is really of concern is these wheels. Now, when we were coming back the other day, these wheels are actually wobbling, and the mudguard came off, which we got the mudguard safely. And these wheels are actually on round the wrong way. The actual air valve is round the back here. And so I'm going to have to look into that and find out why. I've got a feeling that it's something to do with the bearings. When they wear out, I've heard that some people flip these wheels around, get a bit more life out of them. But anyhow, had to pull over, did an emergency repair just to tighten up the wheels a bit, and we got back okay. So a few bits on the trailer, as I say, to do, just to primarily just make it safe. Now moving on to the hull, it's actually in really good condition. Just over there a bit, I've just polished a little bit just to see how it comes out. It's the original gel coat. There's a few little marks and bits on there, but you know, in general, not actually that bad. So it's one of the reasons why I went for the boat. And what you will notice, if I've just flipped around the front here, you can actually see it's a cathedral hull, which is supposed to be quite stable in water. Not as fast as a sort of V-shaped hull, but certainly very stable. Spare wheel there, that's done for. I wouldn't use that at all, so that'll be getting chucked out. Winch, again, not in the best of conditions. It does work, but pretty rusted up, so for the price it's probably best I'll just get and replace that. Jockey wheel, not bad at all. Again, not brand new, but it's not in bad condition. And the same really with the hitch here. It did work absolutely fine, and it still locks okay, so I'm not going to get too upset about that. Going back to the paintwork, like I said, if you look around, it's not really in brilliant condition. It certainly hasn't been painted recently. And so, it's not a big deal, you know. I can live with it. Rather it was painted and done nice, but it will do for now, just to get us out on the water. I don't think it's worth really fussing that much about. Rubber strip is all intact in one piece. That's a nice to have. And the windows, actually, they're not too bad. I mean, you know, they're thick enough to keep the water out. That's the main thing. Actually, don't seem to be leaking that much, but probably doesn't actually matter too much about leaks, considering the fact that actually it's all wide open anyway. But you know what I mean. So moving on to the juicy bit then. So we have an Evan Roode 50 brake horsepower long shaft on here. two-stroke, two-cylinder. And yeah, this thing's quite a beast. You probably can't see very well on the video, but you know, this is a really, really big engine. This is big for this boat, you know. I think they can take up to about 60, maybe even 70 on a boat like this. But ideally, 20, 30 is adequate. So 50 is more than enough power to get us up on the plane and moving. Probably wouldn't take it way out to sea because I think the size of it and the fact it's a cathedral hull, it probably isn't the best idea. But, you know, we'll start gentle and we'll work our way up, do some rivers, do some inshore and see where we go from there, really. But certainly that outboard, I'm really excited about that. I really, really do hope that, you know, it serves us well. Looking down on it, there's a few little bits of, you know, leaks of grease. It is dropping on the floor about once every couple of hours. There's a little drip coming out of it, so I need to investigate that. Bit on the end here is missing. That's obviously snapped off at some point. I don't think that'll affect it much. If it does, do let me know. As I say, I don't know a huge amount about these sort of things. And moving to the inside, well, we've got two seats, which is great. Great that they're there. They're foldy down ones, but they are a little bit loose. Passenger one over there is a lot worse. That's going to really need tying down. It's not safe at the moment. I mean, we don't actually need the seats because, you know, we've got these, you know, sort of cubby holes here that you can sit on anyway. These are double up as seats as well. But it's nice to have with these. They've got a bit of padding on them as well, I think. Let's have a look. Yeah, it's a nice padding. So I think with those, you know, seats properly pinned down, that should be quite nice. It'll certainly do me anyway. Steering wheel there, and there's some old, like, key and kill switch down there, but they're obsolete now. They don't work at all. They've been disconnected. And at the moment, that is the kill switch. And that's unacceptable. I'm not going to chance that at all. But there is a new kit up there which came with the mow. I don't know if you can just see it around there. So let me just grab that. So yeah, there's a new kill switch kit there. So I'll be fitting that before we actually go out on the water. Bit of rope over there. You know, it is what it is, really. The floor's in really good condition. That's been, you know, probably done a couple of times and painted. That's really good, so very pleased with that. Little cubby holes in there as well. They're all, you know, all working as it were. There's stuff in there. I don't think I'll use them that much, but they're there just in case we want them. And a bit of space all the way up there. You could pretty much lie down in this boat. It wouldn't be, you know, a problem. You'd probably get about 4 people in here, but I don't think I would do that. I don't think the boat is probably really designed to carry that much weight. It's only 14 foot. Fuel tank, that came with the boat as well. And transom there has been strengthened. Now I've got to make sure that, you know, it's strong enough for this engine. I don't want it tearing the back of the boat off, especially when we're out and about. So that'll be another thing to look into. So that's a really quick, brief teardown of the Dory that we've just picked up. There's obviously an awful lot more to the boat, but I thought I'd just give you a really brief sort of outline as to what we've got here. Now, there's a couple of things that I'm going to need to fix before we can take it out, before I'm confident that we can go out in this boat. Trailer obviously needs to be done. Transom plugs, that's another big thing. The 2 missing plugs there. I've got some on order anyway, so it shouldn't be too difficult to get those fitted. But can't go out without them. Engine, I need to get it started. I have seen it running, so I do know it does run, but I need to get it started myself. One of the big issues really with it is it's a pull start, and pull starting a 50 horsepower engine of that size takes quite a bit of energy. It'd be nice at some point to get it converted to electric starter, but we've got to make do with what we got at the moment. You know, it's not worth putting all the money into something if it didn't work. So that will be another thing to sort out. Floating wise, hopefully it floats. Don't see a reason why it doesn't float, but we'll know when we get out and test it. pretty much that's it really. So, oh, and the kill switch as well. So kill switch, trailer, and those plugs, and get the engine running. Should be able to get that in the next couple of days, get it all sorted, and then really look forward to getting this lovely little boat out on the water and having some fun. So, with all that being said, let's get on. Alright, so I've jacked up the trailer there, and obviously for safety, put an axle stand under there. Never chance it, it just simply isn't worth it. Nice and easy to do, just in case anything should happen, come collapsing down, that'll catch it there, so don't chance it. So what I'm trying to work out really is what's going on with these bearings here. Now, if I give this a spin around, don't know if you can hear that, but that sounds quite graunchy, and it actually, I can feel the bearings are dry. Now, I've already popped this off on the way home the other day when bringing the boat back. I had to pop this off and it was absolutely dry. So I'm going to pop this cap off now and let's have a closer look. General rule of thumb, don't use hammers like these really, because they actually can dent and damage the cap. But use a rubber hammer or one of the blunted hammers and that. But I've actually lost mine and I can't bother to look for it. So yeah, in general, don't really use these. Right, so anyway, we've got into the bearing here. Well, not quite the bearing, but the inner bits. Let's just bring you in a bit closer here. And yeah, you can probably see this is actually quite dry. So I'm going to pop this, pop the pin off here. And there we go, that's the pin out. Now, avoid reusing these pins because obviously once they've been used once, they're quite weakened. So these are really cheap. Just put a new one in each time and obviously throw the old one away. But if you're stuck on the side of the road like I was, then got no choice but to reuse it. So here we have the, I think it's called a castle nut actually, and obviously it's loose, it's meant to be. Don't tighten these up. When you tighten them right the way up, you can obviously damage the bearings, so they need to be slightly slackened off, hence the point of having the pin. So let's just spin this nut off and have a look at the state of this wheel. Comes off nice and easily, just like that. Obviously keep that somewhere safe because you need to reuse that. So let's have a look. I can see actually there's quite a bit of movement in there. Don't know if you can see that. I'll bring you in a bit closer, but you obviously need a little bit, but it does feel like the bearings are quite worn out. So let's get this wheel off and let's have a look. It might be just a case I've just got to repack the grease. But on the other hand, could be the bearings are long gone, shot, in which case it need to be replaced. So let's just pop this wheel off, get it off the spindle here and have a look at the state of it. Well, I think that says it all really. I've just popped the wheel off as you can see, and whereas little rollers out the bearing just came flying out. Obviously this bush, that's not an issue. Yeah, let's have a look at the bearing. Well, this one stayed on, didn't come with the wheel. I mean, it's just that's absolutely wrecked. I mean, that's quite scary actually to think that that was driving on the road. Obviously when the wheel's in place, it was just about keeping it together. But yeah, I think it's safe to say that that bearing is shot. and this wheel will need new bearings. Yeah, this trailer won't be going anywhere until I get that sorted out, and as you can see, it's all pretty gammed up and messy in there. So I'm probably going to have to strip this wheel down, I think, get this hub out, give it all a good clean, get some nice new bearings in it. Yeah, there really is no choice, but it just shows, really, doesn't it, at the end of the day, if it's not looked after, and you know, if you don't service your trailer, which I guess previous owners haven't done for a very long time, this is what you're up against. So God knows what would have happened had this have all collapsed and fallen apart whilst being on the motorway or the freeway, as it were. Right, well, let's get this all cleaned up and get some bearings in, and yeah, well, we'll take it from there. So that's the trailer done now. I've put new bearings in there and packed it. Quick little job, but as you can see, it moves a lot better now. Nice and freely and doesn't wobble at all. So that's that one done. Just got the other side to do now, and then that'll pretty much be the trailer done, and a lot safer as well. Next job on the list, transom plugs. One for the deck and one for the keel. Now, they're missing. They didn't come with the boat. I've chased up the previous owner. He said he's got them, but hasn't brought them through yet, so we're a bit stuffed without them. So I've bought some new ones right there, and so I need to fit these, otherwise we're not going to float. This is where we run into a bit of a problem. I've got the screws out on the top one, but the bottom one here, the screws are all rusted. And so, I can't get them out with a screwdriver. I don't want to use a power tool, there's no point, and anyway I don't want to damage any of the fiberglass from the transom. So, we're going to have to try and gently drill these out somehow. Otherwise I can't get the new plug in. Well, I'll just keep going. So, out with the old, put up quite a bit of fight. As you can see, I've shredded that. Not ideal, but there's no other way of getting it out. I can't use power tools and that, and using these little levering tools, got to be so careful not to crack and damage the gel coat and the fiberglass behind here. So I managed to do it anyway, so that's the main thing. Now I've got to fit the new ones in, and they're slightly different size, actually very, very slightly smaller. I don't think it's going to be a big deal though, I can pad it out a bit. And the main thing is use some silicone sealant to obviously stop them leaking. And the other thing I need to do is clean it out here. Just need to clean off all the old silicone gel. Make sure that when this goes in, it fits in all nice and neatly. So I'm going to get on and get them fitted. So I'm really getting somewhere with this boat so far. We're getting very, very close to getting it out on the water. Now I've done both trailer wheels. They're done. The bearings are done. So that's really safe. So I'm really pleased about that. The transom plugs, both just about to put them in, and then I can seal them up and let those set as well. So that's really, really good. That's another thing off the list. So the only thing left on the list to do now is the kill switch and also get this lovely outboard running as well. I'm quite confident it's going to run, but we need to see it run before we get out on the water. So that's going to be it for this video. Thank you very much to all my subscribers. Thank you for all your comments as well. Obviously, if you've got any comments, any hints, any tips or anything, put them down in the comments there. I always read them, and I'm always pleased to see you all get involved. Okay, so join me on the next video. We'll get this up and running, and we'll be getting out on the water. I promise you, we'll get this boat out on the water. Alright, whatever you're doing, take care, and I'll see you on the next one.